Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Girl Talk. I'm just going to give everyone a couple seconds. I do apologize. We started a little late, but I did make a post about it so you guys knew that we were a couple minutes behind. But I want to give you guys just a couple seconds to come in. And please don't forget to like and share. This is a very special live today. I'm very excited for Love's presentation. I'm so excited that she's joining us again. I'm just going to give you guys a couple seconds to start chiming in. I'm going to play a little music while we wait.
Thank you.
I kind of like this little tune. That's cute.
It's a little bop.
It is. Okay, you guys, that's a couple seconds. You guys can continue to chime in as you're able. I just want to open us up really quick because I want to hurry up and give the floor to Love so that she can present. I'm going to open us up with a little prayer, and then we'll do a welcome, and then I'm going to turn it over to Love. Lord, I thank you, God, for this time that we can come together in fellowship and learn and glean from one another. I pray that you bless everyone that tunes in, whether they do it now or they do it later. I pray that you bless Love in all of her endeavors and everything that you've placed before her. I pray that your favor continue to be greatly upon her as she ministers to women and girls around this world and impacts people all over this world with her amazing invention. We pray, oh God, that this live reaches everyone that needs to see and hear what she has to say in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank
So,
you.
ladies, so today it's a very special live. Love, who is the founder and creator of the SipSak and founder of the company, the SipSak, which is the very first patented wearable infant feeding device. She is going to be sharing with us some business basics. So, young girls, women, if you have had the idea to start a business, but you aren't quite sure how to get started, how to make it happen, well, you've come to the right place. Love has so much experience. She knows how to get a patent initiated, that process. She has so much business basic experience and knowledge that she's willing to share with us today. So I encourage you to get your notepad, take plenty of notes, and you can always feel free to drop any questions that you may have in the chat so that we can acknowledge them. All right, without further ado, I present to you all Miss Love Vaughn.
Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate you again for having me. And hello to everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you. And yeah, so today we're going to speak about business basics. And uh, I love entrepreneurship. It is a great, it has great meaning to me, but I also love to speak on the truth behind entrepreneurship because to some people it could be super glamorous. And on the flip side, it could be daunting and intimidating, so people don't even want to try to do it. And I'm here to kind of fill in those gaps of information of what may be missing when it comes to putting a piece to the puzzle. And so we're just going to jump right in, and I'll walk you through just kind of a makeshift brainstorming, as I like to call it, instead of brainstorming, really walking you through how I like to speak to people when it comes to when they have a business idea or just something that they really want to do. These are kind of uh, a train of thought that I like to work them through. And first is your communication style and really understanding what that is for you. And I say that because you will be a business owner, you will be running your business and teaching other people how to do what you do so that you can build a team and replicate and continue in that way. So, I will say first things first is understand what is your teaching style. Do you have a teaching style? What is your communication style? Do you over communicate, under communicate, just a little bit or just enough that you think? And once you understand that, then think on the outside looking in. What's your communication style received from people? And this is going to be really key because everyone can think they're really great at communication, uh, and it just not be well received from those who are looking to you for guidance or looking to you when it comes to customer service. And yeah, so if you think you communicate enough, take it up a notch. And this is also something I really had to learn is that um, it's a lot different if you are doing something that people are already very familiar with. So if it's fashion, maybe you're a nail tech, and or maybe you book travel vacations. So whatever that is that people are kind of familiar with, they have an expectation of the way that you need to be communicating with them. And then on the flip side, let's say you too are an inventor or you created something brand spanking new that you want other people to kind of go on a journey with. And that's kind of, I've done both. And now I'm on that. This is new. Nobody really knows what to expect when it comes to communication. And so I'm like, all right, as I navigate this, I need to realize what is my communication style with my team, and then what is my communication style with my audience, and who needs what from me. And because they don't know where to go, what to expect. It hasn't been done before, so they don't know how much is too much and how much is enough until they start going through it and realize, okay, wow, she's not communicating enough, or this is a little much for me, and maybe they'll pull back. And I'm just trying to find that balance of something new. And so as I learn, I love to teach other people, the different spaces that I enter into. This is something that you have to be mindful of. And this also is a great thing to nail down, because you can take that and it'll trickle into the other areas of your life. For instance, your relationships, if you can nail communication with what you're doing with your friends, with your team, with your customers, and your community, then you're getting better all around. And now you ask better questions and you answer more directly. You're not beating around the bush. You can actually really stay focused and in tune with what that person needs from you, the information that they're trying to gather from you, and then you're less intimidated. So growing in your entrepreneurship is a lot about growing in your walk and personally as a person, as a woman, as a girl. Like, this is incredibly important for your personal growth, and allow that to spill into your venture business wise. So with that, in talking about communication, one of the I'm still trying to figure out where to look. So like, look at the camera, look down here. That's another thing you're gonna have to figure out.
You're doing
If you're
good. You're
doing
doing good.
if you're doing a YouTube channel or things like that, side note, always look at the camera. It's going to be super weird at first. Focus on the camera, and people want to feel like you're speaking to them. Like, this is me and her in a room. She's talking directly to me, and it makes people feel seen. So I know that can be really like challenging of where to go, what to look. Yeah, you'll practice. So as far as starting from scratch from your business, you want to figure out, what is it that I love to do? What is it that I like to do? And then what is going to make me money? So the goal is to eventually get to the point where you're doing what you love to do. Like, every single day, you can just roll out of bed, passionate, happy, smiling, and set that to the side. And we'll come back to that. Next, figure out, what do you actually just like to do? What is something that's like, all right, cool, I can live without it, but it's nice, it's fun to do. And then take that and kind of sit with it for a second, and then ask yourself, can I make money doing what I like to do? So you may love doing nails and you want to be a nail tech and that's your dream, but that may not be feasible for you with doing the training and getting all the supplies. But what you could turn that into is, okay, I love doing people's nails and interacting with people, but I like nails. Maybe let me, figure out how to do some nails and just sell those to people, replicate my designs, get my name out there, build a customer base. So it's kind of like taking your purpose and repurposing it for the matters of making money. Because truth be told, love ain't never paid the bills. And not me, because I'd pay mine. But love don't pay the bills. And it's important to know that balance, because you don't have to be in love with money to acknowledge the fact that it takes money to run a business. It takes money to pay your bills and to live. And part of having faith is having truth. And the truth is, nobody's just going to let you live rent free any place. Any place. Your car's not free. All of this stuff is just not, well, you have great faith, so here you go. Bills are paid for everything. No, part of faith is it happens in some way, but you have to do some work. And so doing that work is figuring out, what can I do that won't make me feel like I'm drowning inside, but can also bring in that income that I can save and put to the side to do what I really, really want to do. It's okay not to do what you love in the beginning. Please, everyone, let that idea go that, people have pushed this narrative of, if you do what you love, it never feels like a day's work. Yes, it does. Anything that you actually love to do will always be work, but you're doing it with such joy that you don't feel it's not overbearing to you. You're not overwhelmed. It's enjoyable, but it requires some effort. And I think those two words can get misconstrued sometimes. Work and effort. You will always have to put in effort. Even when things are what they consider passive income, still takes effort. You have to make sure you're doing updates, make sure your information is up to date. You can't let something be on, run on autopilot for 10 years. You're going to be outdated. And therefore, it's not going to make you the kind of money that you thought it would. Effort. You're going to have to come back to it, okay, every couple months. Let me zhuzh it up a little bit. Let me add some new information I learned. If it's an ebook or things like that, let me add to it. Let me build on it and make it better. That's called effort. And effort is still putting in, that due diligence, but it's not like this daunting hard labor. So once you kind of let go of these societal norms and this talk of this fantasy of what entrepreneurship is, see it for what it is. Entrepreneurship is, you are working for you to make money. And that's great. That's amazing. But with that, you have to find that balance so that you don't feel like, well, I could have just stayed at my job and been miserable, instead of taking this route. And sometimes entrepreneurship is miserable because people are fighting too hard to do what they love and be passionate about. And you may be so niche down of, I want to sell dandelion plants to people in Oregon because that's their favorite flower. And now you have an audience of 300, as opposed to picking something more broad that you still like. You don't have to do anything you hate. And I will never recommend that to anyone, to do something that takes such a mental toll on you that it makes you, you start experiencing depression and all these other things. You don't have to do that, but find the middle ground, and do that. and take that money that you're making from the thing that you actually just enjoy, that you're not crazy about it, but you enjoy it, and let that be the fuel to your fire of purpose. Now you can do what you love to do without the pressure of not being able to afford to do what you want to do. So just take that out, wrap that part of it up. But I just wanted to really stress that because I speak to so many people who feel bogged down that they have to stay at a job they hate or struggle so much in their business trying to do what they love. But there's a sweet spot right there. If you could just find something that people, it has a great demand, like, all right, these people are really liking this product or this service, and I'm good at it. Do that, set a timeline. I want to see myself, save $10,000 is what I need to really be able to pull back and focus more on what I love to do, my passion, my vision, my purpose. And I need 10K. All right. That's a great goal to hit. Now, calculate how many hours or how many products is it going to take for me to reach that goal. And then do that and do it twice. So I say once you are hitting that, it's like, all right, I gave myself 6 months to hit 10K. I hit it. All right, great. Now you can take some of that money and get started and keep going in that business. Don't abandon it right now and let it double. Now I have 20K. Now I have a safety net that I can go a little bit even harder with what I love to do because I have the means now. Now I can leave the 9 to 5. I can focus on what's not truly my passion, but it's making the money to fund what I love to do. Now I can transfer that money over. Boom. Now in an actual business sense, I'll break down just a couple layers of what that really looks like. So a way to do that is to first, before I forget, start with your business email. And business emails are kind of double layered. One layer is you need a business login. So this is a step that a lot of people forget that I actually learned to do to make my life so much easier. Business email and a business login are going to be two different things. And I say that because if a business email is through your website, for instance, and you always get a different host than, so G Suite, Google Suite for Business is great. I definitely recommend them, especially if you use Gmail already. It's super easy, whether you're on your phone, iPad, computer device. All your logins are in one place, whether it be business or personal. So that's why I really love about G Suite. Now that's a fee. That's about, I believe, $6 per email a month. So write that down. That's part of your budget. And that's when you have a domain, and a domain is your website. So for instance, www.facebook.com is their domain name, and you have that. So one, you have to figure out if that's available by typing that in, domain search. So I love cupcakes.com. That's what I want. That's what I've been dreaming about since I was 5. Let me grab it. Oops, not available. Now you have to think about it. What about .org, .net, .org, .net? Are these available? That way, don't get caught up in .com. Yes, it's the first thing people think about, but it is not the end of the world. you know, you have many organizations, pbskids.org. You have the government, theirs is .gov. So just because, someone's mind doesn't immediately go to .com doesn't mean that you won't get the traffic that you want. So this is what a domain is, and that's something that you need to be thinking about because you're not the only one who's creative. Somebody else will think about that. We'll touch on that another time because I've had my own struggles with thinking, oh, nobody else will ever think of this. And boom, it's gone. I'm like, how did they come up with that? I thought it was so unique. FYI, the SipSak. Who knew someone else would think of it too? Um, Working through that. But so your domain, and once you snag your domain, you start working on your website, then you can actually get a business email, and this is your professional email that you're going to use to correspond with different people. Like, okay, there's an investor or my customers. It's going to be info. That's what I chose. I chose info. That's it makes you think, okay, I can literally email this and get information. Very easy. Help is a good one. So help at thesipsak.org or info at thesipsak.org. That is your business email. That's one of them, at least. You can have more than one. But that's what you want to have to correspond, but you have to have a domain to get that. And if you're dealing professionally with businesses, they expect and require to have a professional business email. You cannot operate with Yahoo, Gmail. They're going to be looking like scam, a little shady, because anybody can go get the Gmail. Anybody can do that. When you have put in the time and the effort to have a domain, and they know you paid for it, they know you're keeping up with the payments, and that you're serious. That means you have a website. That means you're operating as a business. And it goes a long way. That's automatic credentials. So that's something that you have to budget for. So, $6 per month, budget for that. That's just one thing. The domain that could run you up to $13 to 27, depending on how popular that domain is. You might have to spend a little bit more money per year. Budget for that. And so that's your business email. Got to have one of those. Think about it. But even before you start with that, you have to have a login to even claim to get a domain, to make your profile, to be able to pay and get an account to do these things. So the reason why I say your business email and your business login, totally different. You want to get a Gmail. Now this is where Gmail comes in. This is going to save you a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of headache down the road if you do it correctly the first time. I stress this to you. Please do this first. Go to Gmail and see if it's available, your business name, and type that in at gmail.com and get a regular Gmail for your business. This is going to act as your organization of this is where I can find everything. I'm not searching through my personal email or the one that I used to use 5 years ago, but I don't really like that name anymore. And I forgot to log in and can't get into it. You're not using any of that. You're starting fresh. Your inbox is not cluttered. And everything that you need and you want is one place. The SipSak at gmail.com. Boom. Okay, great. Now I can use that. And now I can go and get my domain. Now I can go and register for this webinar that I wanted to go and learn at. And everything is centralized where you can find it. Your logins are the same across the board. And when I tell you this is going to save you so much stress, please do that first. So you have your Gmail, which is going to be your login for everything business related. And be very disciplined in this to not use it for, that subscription that has nothing to do with your business. Keep it very, very focused. So you have your Gmail, so you log in, and this is what you're going to use to get your website, your account, to get the domain, to get all those other things you need. And you're going to be using this a lot. When I tell you you're going to use it at least maybe 30 times when it comes to business, if you are into fashion, you have vendors, you're going to need vendor accounts to communicate. What are you going to use? Your business login. You're not giving these people your business email. Let me stress that. Your info or help at clarissasclutterfree.com. You're not giving them that. You save that solely for your business communication with people who are either buying from you or people who are investing in you and your customers. Keep it organized. So this way you don't have to search. Everything is one way, especially when you bring on a team. Think long term when it comes to this. Think down the line of your multi-million dollar business and you have all these team members and they're going through your, like, what is it? Why she got Nike.com coming through the customer service? Like, what are these things? And it makes it so easy to bring people on and there's no confusion. There's nothing that you don't want them to see. Your doctor isn't emailing you at your business email saying, hey, you need your prescription updated, and you're like, oh, embarrassing. So you want to be mindful down the road and think long term. And this is going to set you up to think of yourself as successful. We're not thinking of ourselves like, well, what if I don't make it? We're not thinking like that. You're setting yourself up to make it. So business login, get it, nail it really quickly. Business email is something that you're going to work on as you get your domain and you build yourself up. You do not rush to do that. Do not rush to do that because it takes money. And if you don't have the budget to pay for it a year out, don't do it. Um, because one thing that you may not realize about business emails, that one that's connected to your domain, is if you don't pay, they will shut you down. Yeah, yeah, it's serious. Go 2 or 3 days, and I'll be completely honest with you. I've done it before. I'm not perfect. And I'm just like, oh man, I got a million things to do and I forgot. Oh goodness, my card was locked because hey, these days scams are real these days. So I had my card locked and then I forgot to unlock it for the payment and auto pay. And I was like, oh my God. Now they shut the email down. It's not that you can't get it back, just pay it and you'll have access again. But what does happen, you miss emails that you can't get again. You will miss opportunities that you cannot get again. And it has happened to me. And it is heartbreaking that you can't get that information back. Those correspondence of emails, they're not going to backtrack it for you. It is a bounced email. It is lost in cyberspace and it is done. That's it. So if you are not in the financial position to be able to keep up with that demand financially right now, take your time. Don't rush that process. Having a business, sustaining a website, and all these things, it takes money. And that's just the reality. And until you're ready to keep up with that demand financially, just step back, get your business login, and build a little slowly. Okay, so make sure you have those two things. It's a great place to start. You start at the business login email, and then you build up to the domain. Nikki, how's that? Do you want me to continue? Do you have any questions?
Think it's wonderful.
Okay.
I'm going to drop the questions for
Okay.
those that are viewing. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments,
Yes,
and
please.
so we can make sure that we get them answered for you. But thank you for what you're sharing. You taught me some things that I didn't know.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yes.
I just don't want other people to make the same mistakes. Whew, they are costly.
Yes.
Yeah, they are
Yes.
costly. So, yeah, the tips, they may seem, very, very simple, but they go a long way in really helping you out down the road. Um, when it comes to brainstorming, and I'll jump to that, I like to take people through a thought process of how to figure out what it is that they want to do. And one of those things is your why. So you could be very, very passionate about helping the youth. And I want to be a mentor, and this is something I love to do. But a lot of times you don't really know where to start. How do I start? How do I make a business out of it? And then you may feel bad, especially if you're very much one that's like always giving. to people, your first thought isn't how to make money. Like, let's be honest. If you are like the giver's heart, which I love, and that is me too, and helping people, you don't think about money. And then you are left with the burden of finances that you didn't consider because you thought, well, this is a good thing I'm doing. And people love good things. And I'm doing a good deed. Good deeds also don't pay the bills. That is unfortunate. It's not going to pay your subscriptions. It's not going to pay for your inventory. So it may sound really harsh, but you always have to go back to that. No matter how great of a person you are, you could be the sweetest soul on earth, wouldn't hurt a fly. But that particular characteristic, you have to learn how to take that and be able to sustain yourself. So, a lot of times, people want to do nonprofit because it's admirable and it's noble. But nonprofit doesn't mean no profit. It just means that your business structure isn't focused on making money from people. But what they don't take into account is you still have to make money to stay afloat. So I'm loving the fact that you want to help the homeless. It's actually something I'm personally passionate about myself. But I know from learning business along the years that I can't venture off and do a nonprofit just because it's a good thing to do. Nonprofits take much longer to form than an LLC or an incorporation or C Corp or anything like that. It takes a long time to be granted a 501c. That's what it's called on paper, tax papers. 501c. You will be sitting on your hands and twiddling your thumbs for maybe a year before you're granted it. And some, especially during the pandemic, it took people almost 2 years to get granted a 501c. It is a daunting process and it's not for the faint of heart. And yeah, so prepare yourself. If that's your goal, your love, you do your research. Start there, do your research. Nonprofits take a long time to get, which means that you can't really start doing certain business aspects until you're granted legally your 501c. So you can't really go and get your business bank account, and that's one of the first things you have to get. You can't open up any business credit. You can't do any of these things until you're granted that 501c. So imagine being passionate, that's the only thing you want to do in life and nothing else matters, and you can't do anything for the next 2 years. And then the longer you wait to start, the longer the process takes. So if you keep second guessing yourself, you're going to be here in 2025 asking yourself the same questions. Man, I wish I would have got started in 23. I wish I would have followed this idea that I had. And yeah, that's going to suck down the line. So just be mindful that when you start, that's when you can actually like get started. Do something today. Do something today. Um, so brainstorming, that's one of the things that I help, like what kind of business do you want to start? Do you know about the different businesses? And an LLC, you can hear that term a lot. What does that mean? That means a limited liability company. What it does is it limits what you're liable for in business. So that means if my business goes up in smoke for some unfortunate reason, you may get slapped with a lawsuit because that cream that that body butter, oof, it went awry. And someone broke out, 10 people broke out in hives because you didn't do much research on a ingredient and everybody's allergic to that ingredient because you thought it was the new rave and it was really poison oak and you had no idea. Now it's all up in your botanical zhuzh body butter and you thought it was the hit and now you're slapped with a lawsuit. So what do you do? Well, luckily for you, you can come out of it with lots of prayer and determination. You can come out alive, but you're limited in what you can be liable for as a person. So they can't come after your house and your car and your personal finances and wipe you dry in your bank account. for that reason. It limits what they can charge you for, and it goes to your business. Your business is liable. So yeah, they may shut your business down. Like it might be over for you. um, but very much so you can live again. Like it won't keep you from starting another business and rebranding yourself. People do it all the time. Like the higher ups, this is something that they do. They do what's called dissolve a business, which means to pretty much stop it in its tracks, dissolve it, disappear, it's gone. Business is no more. Your cyber you're out there still in cyber world, so you can't run away from the history that it existed ever, but it no longer exists in the government's eyes. You're done. Business is over. And you can dissolve a company and start something new. So, what kind of business you want is going to be very, very important. It also deals with taxes. How are you taxed? So, an LLC, if I'm saying this correctly, is it's like a pass through. So, an LLC, when you're by yourself and you're a single member LLC, it's called a pass through, which means you can file your personal taxes and your business taxes together, and your business runs through your personal taxes. And that could be great. So you're not double taxed. You're not being taxed for your personal, because I'm trying to still work this job to fund my business, and then I'm getting taxed for my business. And whoo, this is too much. That's just too much going on. So you can actually put them together, and you're being taxed once instead of twice. So you have to be mindful. And that's why a lot of small businesses choose LLC, because the risk factor is just a lot lower when it comes to getting started. And when you're just starting from just kind of nothing, it's a little bit more, it's better to give you peace of mind that you won't have to pay this whopping tax bill and you barely hit 50K in your business that year. So just be mindful of that. I am not an accountant or a CPA or any of that, so I won't get into all of the ins and outs of taxes and business and that. But just be mindful to do your research of the entity. That's what it's called. It's called an entity, which is your LLC, your C corp, which is like these big corporations. Or when you hear the word Inc., like maybe Coca-Cola Inc. I want to say they're Inc. I'm not sure, but that means incorporated. It's a shortened version for incorporated. LLC is shortened for limited liability company. Um, and so just get familiar with these terms of what you want to do, where you want to go. And mind you, you can always change it. You can actually always change it. Let's say you blow up, and that's great. And now you have 100 employees, and woo, life is great. Um, you can actually upgrade or change. You can actually become a C corp and change over. It's paperwork, but it's doable. You're not bound to be this, LLC forever. You don't have to stay that way. You can always change your taxation with the Secretary of State. So just keep that in mind. Um, Everything goes through them. That's how you get your business license and everything like that. Secretary of State, uh, you can go to sba.gov. That's SBA, Small Business Association.gov. And this is a great place to start. They give you lots and lots of information. They break down what is a business entity, which one should I choose, what are the steps to get my business license, and to incorporate and all that. They give you everything. So you to start legally, and you're going to have to start legally. So, doing your research, get familiar with what's called the Chamber of Commerce. When you hear e-commerce, your brain kind of knows that, okay, that's buying things online. But you have to think in the business sense. Your Chamber of Commerce is pretty much your state by state, but it's the government's way of organizing the the business side of things. And this is where you can go and learn, and they have events, and you want to familiarize yourself with who is, the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Why does that matter? Well, these are the people kind of making decisions for you in business. They're the ones with the influence of making the laws, of how you're taxed, of what that means for you. And they're the ones who are going to be there to help you, even with networking. Imagine doing what you have to do and doing things correctly and pursuing the Chamber of Commerce and getting familiar with these people. They have networking events. So now you're brushing shoulders and shaking hands with those who really matter, who are making the decisions within your state. And they're great to build relationships with, because if you do something that they love, oh, I love your business, this is helping people, like, wow, who knew red robins needed to be saved and they're endangered all of a sudden? That is not true. I just totally made that up. But the red robin birds are, our cardinal, the state's cardinal is not flourishing anymore. And I love your mission. And what is your business website? Give me a card. I'm going to drop you your name and your business at my next dinner party. These are the people who can afford to have dinner parties, okay? Who have the house and the space to actually do something called a dinner party. So it's really great to start thinking more broadly. Like, get out of this scope of your neighborhood. Get out of the scope of just your social media friends. You need to think of yourself and believe in yourself and know that I think what I'm doing is great. And that's not enough. I need other people to think what I'm doing is great. So this is an awesome way to go out there and see if the demand is there. If the demand is there, and you have a great mission, you're on your way. You are on your way. So think outside of the box. Do your research. Study, because SBA has great loans. They have grants. They are the place that's going to really help you to form yourself as an entrepreneur. That's all they do. It's literally the Small Business Association. That's all they're about, is your small business. And by small business has nothing to do with the amount of money you make. For those who don't know, small business doesn't mean I don't make over X amount. Small business, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but last time I checked, it means I have under 500 employees. Now sit on that for a second. You could be making millions and still be considered a small business. So don't let anybody be like, "Oh, how's your little business going?" Oh, my little $1 million business. It's going great, actually, because small business is referring to the amount of employees you have, not the amount of income. So laugh all the way to the bank. Next time somebody says you're a little business, you still doing your little business? So that is very important to get in with the government. It'll also list if you need an actual business license. We kind of use that term just to let you know. We kind of say it as far as incorporating. Like, oh, did you get your business license? Well, that just means did you incorporate? Everyone really doesn't know immediately when you say incorporation. People's minds don't really understand what that means. So it's kind of like business jargon of, did you get your business license? But there is a such thing as a license for business. So think in terms of if you are an esthetician or you're a hairdresser, barber, you have to have a license to operate that says I did my sanitation classes, because there are steps to every type of business you want to do. There are steps. That I did my sanitation classes with I believe it's OSHA is the health part. I used to do childcare. We had to do OSHA to conduct the daycare. That's a license that you have to have. Um, did you graduate? Like, are you certified? You can't just be cutting people's hair, open up a shop and do everything without these steps. Like, you will get shut down. You won't even get to that level unless you are like scammer supreme. You're not going to get there. I don't recommend you being a scammer. So make sure you're doing things in order and you really learned how to ask good questions because Google is great, but it won't automatically give you everything that you're looking for if you don't know what to ask it. That's why I say SBA.gov, these are the website that's going to give you what you're looking for that you don't know that you're looking for because you're unfamiliar with entrepreneurship and they're not. So they'll like, oh, okay, I need to click on this article and read this article because I had no idea I needed to do XYZ to even get to the incorporation part, to even start my business. I have to go and take this class. There's something called zoning. What zone are you in? So learning that word. I'm in zone 6. Okay, zone 6 actually doesn't allow, this anything that could, occur with fire because we're around brushes of trees. And okay, or I want to open a water park. Yay. But zone 5 is below sea level. And that's a no because what? We're already, this close to the water. You're not allowed to. So you may be dreaming of this area or you passed by this, strip mall and it says for sale or for rent. And you have your heart set on this place, but that particular zone doesn't allow what you want to do. So when it comes to business, you have to separate the dreamer within you from the reality that exists because they may not align. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't pursue your dream. It just means that you have to form such a discipline within yourself to not get too attached to things so quickly. Don't get so attached to that building that you saw, to that one person that you met that you think is going to make all your dreams come true because they said they loved your business. They may forget about you in 10 minutes and it's not personal, but that person may have 5 businesses they're trying to run and they just met you. So you are not their everything. And you have to really remove yourself from the glitz and glamour of what being a business owner looks like, the cars, the purses, the cute clothes, just that lifestyle that they sell you on social media. Not real, like not real at all. And this is a side note, a lot of those people, if they actually know about it, they got their car and that G-Wagon or whatever on business credit. They are not out here dropping bands. They're not doing it. It's business. They got to do their business. And you can too. And I'll teach you that another time. How to get a car in your business thing. And we'll talk about business credit. That's a long journey. But yeah, developmentally within yourself, have the courage to be more firm, to be more stern, to make more decisions as a person who wants to run a successful business. And that doesn't mean you have to be mean. That doesn't mean that you have to, lower your integrity. You can be a stand-up person with great morals and still run an incredible business. But what you cannot do is focus solely on, ooh, character, and I'm a great person, and God loves me, and I'm going to save the world and forget about running a business. You're going to drown like in the reality that's going to keep being thrown at you left and right. So separate those two and know that you can still be a good person and make good decisions and still like be about your business. You can be about your God and be about your business at the same time. And I'm pretty sure that's what he will want you to do is to be strong in both. Don't be out here making crazy decisions just because you think God told you to. Like, all right. Like, question that. Question, is he really tapping you on the shoulder? Okay. So just think on that. Do lots of research before you get started. Um, Business login email, SBA.gov, and start there before you get anything. To be honest, it's going to take, if you want to do things right, I would actually budget I mean, the bare minimum is $150. That's just the bare minimum. If you don't have $150 right now, you need to slow down. Slow down, because there are some things you can start, but if you start them and you can't keep up with them, it'll hurt you in the end. For instance, if you can start building your website, but I will wait until I have maybe 3 months worth of payments, because you can't operate off of the idea that, all right, if I just hurry up and get my website started and I just start selling the products, then the money will come. And I've been there, done that. Like, let me tell you, it doesn't work like that. Sales do not happen immediately, especially not without an ad budget. I don't care who you are. Like, you keep seeing ads for these popular people, that's because they have the money behind it. They too know that I may be popular, but if people don't see me and I'm not in people's faces, I'm not going to sell anything, no matter who you are. Even the Kardashians and all the people, they are putting out ads. They are in your face. They are collecting your coins because they have the money behind it. So that's the reality of entrepreneurship. These people aren't just making money just because they are who they are. That's real. So just start there, and this will cover your domain costs for a year with $150, depending on your state. Depending on your state, I wouldn't jump in immediately to form your business until you have proven demand. So your business budget, no matter what you're doing, and this is on the small end of something that doesn't have a big overhead. So what does that mean? An overhead cost, meaning like this is all the money that's over my head that I have to have before starting this business, or I'm going to crumble. So you're going to hear these terms a lot when people ask you for a business plan. Okay, what do you want to do? Like, let's write it down in a format, a business plan. Your bank is going to ask you for a business plan if you want money from them. They're gonna be like, well, what is your plan to give us our money back? Oh, here you go. Here's my document. And it could be like 40 pages sometimes, depending on what business you have. That's also something you have to think about. And if you're not a person that may be familiar with writing, it's called copy. Copy writing. I know you've heard of the word copywriting, but let's break it down. So in the business world, you're going to hear the word copy, like, oh, who does your copy? You're going to be like, what are you talking about? That means who writes for you. This means everything that is written on your website is called copyright. Everything that is on your social media. Everything that you're writing in some aspect, anything, is called copy. When you get it copyrighted, that means, copyrighted essentially is you can go the formal route to get copyright, but anything that you actually write copy wise is stamped in cyber world, as in, all right, it's here. This is on her website. This is like her words. And so you have to think about that. And maybe you might not be good at formulating your words. And that's okay. It's okay if it's not your strength. But do you have the money to hire your weaknesses? Another thing you have to think about. You also have to budget to be able to hire your weaknesses. And I tell you one thing I absolutely hate to do. It's paperwork. I hate paperwork. Let me say that. For all 10 years down the line, you're going to look back at this video and this clip might come back and I'm be like, and I still do. Still hate it. And one day I'm going to hire somebody just to do paperwork. It's just something I don't enjoy, but it has to be done. So I'm going to do it, and it might not be with a smile. It's going to be a little joy in my heart because I got to do it with some joy, but it might not be smiling. But I'm going to get it done. But that's something that you have to think about as well. Who's going to do all the writing for your website to make sure that you are getting your brand across? What is it that you want to convey? One of the biggest questions that I ask people when we're brainstorming is, how do you want people to feel? How do you want your audience to feel? And not necessarily about you unless you are your brand, like with services, like you're a business coach, or you are a counselor or something. That's you. You are the service. You could be a doula or anything like that. You are the service. So how do you want people to feel about you? Now if you have a business, you want to sell makeup, or you want to sell shoes, how do you want people to feel about your brand, about your products? Do you want them to feel confident? Do you want them to feel relaxed? Do you want them to feel luxury? No, you want them to feel like every day, feeling like around the way girl. However you want them to feel, bold, do you want them to feel like you have a loyal brand? Safe. It's safe. It makes me feel safe. These are things that you have to think about, because people may not remember what you said to them, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And that goes for business too. How you make a customer feel will make or break you. And think about it. I want you to take 2 seconds right now, and I bet one brand is going to pop into your mind that you felt like a bad taste in your mouth. It was at one restaurant, it was at one store in the mall that was like, no, they did not treat me like this. I can't believe I never got, the customer service never got back to me. I emailed them 50 times. They didn't get back to me for 2, 3 months. Like, you remember how business is conducted when it's negative. Oh, you don't forget, and you don't forgive. Sometimes you will not forgive these people. So mind you, that could be you. If you do not do things correctly and have it to where this is something that is important to me, of how I make people feel, you'll be that one that leaves a bad taste in someone's mouth. Or you could be that trusted brand that people like, I don't care if she puts out a shoelace, I'm buying it. Like, what shoelace you got for me today? Because it's mine. Like, take my money, whatever you're selling, I'm buying. This is just real. Because you have built such a trust in people. You always answer the phone, you always answer your email, you are on it. Customer service is your priority. How people feel about you and your brand is everything. That's not second, second priority. It's first. And when you do that, people remember. And this is something that has personally saved me, with I'm, doing something that hasn't been done before. It's not easy to navigate. I don't have all the answers. This is I don't know what I'm always doing sometimes. But I'm honest with people. I respond quickly, and I let them know like that, because that's part of my brand, is taking people on the journey with me. I made that part of the brand, that this is about community. Like, this is about family. And, some people are very, really elusive. And, like, for instance, there's a difference between kind of what I'm doing and making people very involved. And I'll think of an example of that later, that somebody you may know. But somebody that I know y'all know is Beyonce. I know. You know Beyonce, but something that she has done is made herself this intangible person, where it's like, you already know you're not going to be able to just email her. You're not going to be able to just touch Beyonce. She doesn't even get on social media, but when she does, what just happened? She dropped a tour after being gone for I mean, I don't follow her like that. I don't know her life. But all I know is, all I've seen is $1,000, please. Like, I'll work for the next 4 months or whatever to make it back, but I'm going to that concert. Some people have risked their relationships, their marriages. One person, the whole engagement got called off because she wanted, her half of the money for, not even her half, but her portion of the money for the down payment for the house back so she could go to the concert. Branding People may not know it, but Beyonce is calculated. And she has made herself this person to where she's involved with the fans. When she's there, she's there. She's bringing them on stage. She's reaching out to them. She's in the hospital rooms with those fighting cancer. Like, she makes herself tangible momentarily. So that way you have this connection to her. You know that she loves people. And then she distances herself. And so you chalk it up as she's taking time for herself. She's allowed privacy. Now you're defending her. Okay, Beehive. Branding. Beehive is real and they don't play. And she created all of this. And that's just smart marketing. It's smart. She's built such a trust and a loyalty in people that they're out here risking their right arm to go to her concert. They are not going to miss it. Their boss may say you can't have that day off, and they were like, "Well, I guess I don't have a job." So you have to figure out, who do you want to be in business? How do you want people to feel about you? Because that's great if you want that Beyonce type of branding, but just know it comes with a lot of loneliness. She doesn't have a million people around her all the time. She has to keep herself exclusive. So that means you can't just be showing up to Kroger. Like, you don't go shopping for yourself. You don't do simple things. You're not just at amusement parks enjoying your life, because you have to stay intangible. And so this is the way you need to start thinking about yourself, is 5 years down the line, who do I want to be to myself, and who do I want to be to those outside my home? How do I want them to view me? And a big part of entrepreneurship is the way you start. I know a lot of times they say it's not how you start, but how you finish. But in business, it's how you start, because how you start can be why you finish. So think on that. Start writing those questions down, in a simple sense. Just a couple things. I'm wrapping it up here. Is when it comes to your branding, how do you want to make people feel? Also, with that, use that as your umbrella. So, how do I want people to feel about me, my products, my services, XYZ? Write those things down. At least, maybe five, 3 to 5 keywords that if somebody had to describe you, would it match what you described yourself as? Do those things match up? If you ask 10 people, would they get 3 out of 5 of the things that you wanted them to get? Would they say you're bold? Would they say you're luxury? Would they say you're friendly? Would they say, oh, her clothes make me feel sexy. They make me feel confident. Um, would they say that? So that's important, because it's not about like solely about what you think of yourself, but what you can communicate to other people. This idea, you can take it and you can make it something that people understand. And you can do that with your branding and colors, because colors matter. If you've ever noticed, yellow and red are food related. That's because they invoke hunger. And that's called, it's a color psychology. There are certain colors that make you feel certain things. Did you know that the color pink actually is the opposite? It actually diminishes your appetite. Ironic, right? Bakeries have a lot of pink boxes. So it's like, it's that like that momentary, I can eat this one donut, like I can eat this one cupcake, and it's something that makes you think of this one moment. It's very powerful, the power of colors. Blue is loyalty, and it makes you, feel trust. That's part of why I picked blue for my brand, other than it being my favorite color, is because I'm dealing with family and I'm dealing with children. And I want people to know, even just the color alone makes them know that, all right, she gets it. Like, I can trust her. She understands that this is calm and it's my child. This is my everything. Um, and green, is a color of life. It's also a color of money. So a lot of maybe gardening or landscaping businesses will have the color green. So just think about that. McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A. What is the main color they all have in common? Red. Two of them have yellow. Well, actually, all three of them kind of have yellow. Chick-fil-A kind of has yellow with the chicken. They smart. Um, but every time you see it, like really think about every day from now on when you go out, start thinking like an entrepreneur. Look at brands as, wow, I see what they did there. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, they all have the color red. The color blue. Samsung, AT&T. These companies have the color blue. They want you to trust them. They are loyal. They're going to come through for you. And the color, um, I think, oh man, I'm forgetting. But anyway, that's just all that to say is colors matter. Be mindful of your colors. You can either choose your favorite color because you think it's cute, or you could choose one that's really going to convey your message. And it may not be your absolute favorite color, but if you don't hate it, it might be a good idea. It may work for you. So just be mindful of that. I'm going to wrap it up there and take that with you. Uh, and I hope that you learned something. I have thousands of other things that I could share with you, but I really wanted to share the mindset when it comes to business basics, and those things can take you a long way. And thank you for letting me talk to you.
That was so wonderful. Thank you, Love, for taking
Thank
the time out
you.
of your busy schedule. Y'all, she is an inventor and a business owner.
Oh,
So
thank
for her to
you.
take this time for us, it means so much to me. And I'm just so honored that you even wanted to do this. You guys, please support her. I put her webpage down below,
Oh, thank you.
www.thesipsak.org.
I
If you
appreciate
know
that.
someone that has a baby, that could be, I mean, everybody can use it. Like if I have children one day, I will be having a SipSak. It is just the mom on the go. Yes. And I will be getting one, my melanin color.
Thank you. Oh, look, actually have the colors. I haven't shown
Oh,
the all of them yet. So we
awesome.
have all
Yes.
sorts of.
So you can
What's
get
your
it the color of your skin.
Yeah?
Um,
What's your flavor? Oh, we went deep.
yes. Oh,
We
yes.
went deep.
Yes. I love it.
Even for the palest, we got it all.
Got you covered. And see, color matters. Like you were
Yes,
saying, color
yes,
matters. And that is
yes.
one of the things that she advertised on her website. If you go even checking her out on Facebook or Instagram, you can just look up the SipSak and you can see her product and you can see how the color really does matter when you're trying to have that bonding moment with your baby. Your baby looks
Mhm.
at your skin color and they can say, oh, this is mommy's boob, even though it's not really mommy's boob, but it can be familiar for them.
Yeah.
um so it just brings you that much closer and as far as bonding with your child. This is an amazing invention that she has, so please, I
Thank
encourage
you.
you to support. Go to her website, check her out on Facebook or Instagram if you have it. Share, follow if you have people that you know are having children. If you have people that take in foster children, this is really great for them as well. A lot of people have to take in infants that aren't biologically theirs, and you still want to have that bonding moment. And then she even mentioned one time a mother that had to have a double mastectomy, both of her breasts removed, but she still wanted to be able to bond with her baby. So this product is not only for mothers, but it can be for other people that don't biologically are not biologically associated to the child, but want to give that child that breastfeeding experience. This is something that you won't find in any other store. She's the first person that
Thank you.
has created this product. I want to put that out there. Like, you're not going to find this anywhere else. She is the first person, and she has a patent for it. So I want you guys to acknowledge the weight of the person that she is, that is joining and sharing with us.
Thank you.
Please, you guys,
Oh,
like and follow and share this live. What she dropped was true gems, and you're not going to find this information just loosely everywhere. I've been a business owner, and something she said I didn't even know, and I'm not new to the game. So she comes with great experience, and like she just gave you guys a little bit of her knowledge and experience. So please share this information, and don't forget to support her. Thank you,
thank
love,
you.
for joining us.
Nikki, I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
I appreciate you. I just love you. But I'll pray us out, and I hope you guys enjoy your
Okay.
Saturday. Um, Lord, we thank you for this time of knowledge and sharing. Oh God, I pray that everyone that witnesses the live grows and gleans from it and can take this information and use it towards their business endeavors. I pray, God, that young girls will see this, that women will share this with their young girls, and it will ignite a passion for entrepreneurship. And I pray that again, you bless love in her endeavors, continue to grant her amazing favor, open up amazing doors for her. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Thank you. Love you guys.
All right. Love you. Thank you.